Welcome to another episode of your favorite show, Gita Guidance. Every week we discuss how the teachings of Bhagavan Sri Krishna are relevant for everyone in all situations life throws at us. From school kids to complex global politics, from relationship counseling to seeking self-perfection, we seek wisdom, clarity, and strength from Gita Guidance. As you all know, currently the entire world is under quarantine because of the ongoing COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. Millions of lives have been lost so far, both due to the illness itself and more importantly, due to the behavior of people. Many of you wrote to us asking how Gita guidance can bring solace at this tragic time. Therefore, that will be the topic of discussion in this episode. How are the values taught by Bhagavan Sri Krishna applicable during a pandemic? What are some of the values and how are these values relevant today? So with that, let me introduce our esteemed guests. Swami Gita Priyananda ji from Vishwa Vedanta Mission, CEO of Vairagyam Products, Dr. John V. Vaidya, Special Forces Commander Durga Singh, Dr. Manohar Kalidas, psychologist and author of many bestsellers based on our itihasas. Namaste and a warm welcome to all. To begin this discussion, I'm requesting Swamiji to kindly start with your thoughts on these Gita values as it applies to the ongoing pandemic.
Thank you. Good topic for discussion. Very relevant. So obviously, I will have to first choose the most important value, Ahimsa, okay? Since I got to speak first, I picked the easy one. I don't know if anyone has confirmed the actual source of this pandemic. It is said that it came from a meat market where they sell all kinds of wild animals. These markets have been sources of previous serious infections. Maybe Dr. Vaidyaji can correct me if I'm misinformed about this.
Yes, you're correct, Swamiji. That is what we know so far. There are other theories for the origin, but that will get us into conspiracies and controversies.
Okay. Anyway, since we know this from previous infections, we will go with the same theory. If society understood the importance of ahimsa, these wild animal meat markets would not exist, and such infections wouldn't happen. No unnecessary suffering for those animals, and we don't increase suffering for ourselves. By practicing ahimsa, we refrain from causing pain to all creatures. But even in the midst of this pandemic, people still continue causing great himsa. No awareness, no restraint. I can go on, but now let us hear from others. Then I can return to this later to summarize. Okay?
Good idea, Swamiji. Ahimsa indeed is the most relevant here and has always been a significant value in our dharma culture. Now, let us hear from the good doctor. Over to you, Vaidyaji.
Thank you. So when we see these unhygienic markets, we are witnessing a complete lack of Soucam. We see the external filth, and we can understand it is caused by the absence of internal Soucam in the minds of people. There is no awareness about the importance of Soucam in preventing these infections. Even before this pandemic, there have been many other infections that originated from factory farms, where millions of animals and birds are slaughtered every day.
Also, doctor, are we noticing any significant realization, any improvement in how we treat animals? How can this go on without a complete rethink?
Well, in fact, when this pandemic started and quarantine was enforced, some people were intentionally spreading the infection to others. When some people were forced into quarantine in a hospital, they started attacking and spitting on healthcare workers to spread the infection. This is how many human beings treat our own kind. So I find it difficult to be optimistic about any improvement in how we care for other creatures.
That is very worrisome and must greatly concern all global healthcare organizations.
Yes, and there is more to be worried about. Coming back to the factory farms, where animals are killed on an unimaginable, massive scale. For several decades now, they have been pumping these animals with all kinds of antibiotics. Because of this, many microbes are mutating and developing resistance to antibiotics. So we now have new resistant microbes called superbugs, against which none of our existing medications will work. Trying to kill these superbugs with new antibiotics will just make them even more resistant. A full-blown pandemic of these superbugs will devastate the global healthcare system.
This is a very alarming situation, Dr. G. As you have pointed out, this is a complete absence of internal and external Soucam, therefore no awareness for Ahimsa either.
Wow, this is truly mind-boggling. We can realize how terribly we have messed up by not practicing the values taught by Sri Krishna. Now let us hear from Commander Durga. Ma'am, can you hear us over there?
Namaste. Please bear with me. At this remote location, there will be delays in reception. To continue the points raised by Dr. Vairagyam, we are now noticing shocking levels of corruption and serious lack of basic moral values. It is evident in people's behavior during this traumatic time. Whether it is the greed of some big pharma companies or individual attacking healthcare workers, we are witnessing it everywhere, including in this failure of governance machinery. The root cause of this decay is in our education system. Children are not taught Gita-based values and gradually established in sadhana practices as part of early childhood education. When they are adults, we cannot expect them to suddenly acquire these values. Now, as we find that every institution is corrupt, we realized the field of education is also in the tentacles of the same corrupt people. Now we are seeing corruption in hospital bed allocation, and even more appallingly, some people are hoarding oxygen cylinders to cause artificial shortages, while thousands of people are suffering and dying. This is clearly due to complete lack of awareness about the need for Atma Vinigrahah. People are selfishly trying to exploit, take advantage, indulge in corruption, even when there is so much misery.
Valuable insights. Yes, there's a total lack of self-control leading to massive corruption. As a sharpshooter, you are right on target, Durgaji. You got to the root of most of our troubles. Corruption of the education system. Our next speaker, Dr. Kalidasji, has written extensively about child psychology and reforming our education system based on dharmic values. Over to you, Kalidasji.
Namaste. The quality of our education system is generally abysmal, and it is not just the absence of dharmic practice and values. There's active resistance to introducing our values or to bring any sort of reform based on evidence from modern psychology and neuroscience. As Durgaji said it perfectly, it is in the vicious grip of tentacles of the corrupt. This is seriously damaging to the long-term mental health of our students. Whether it is systemic corruption, inequality, or mass shootings, we can trace it back to corruption in the education system. In our dharmic culture, we have this understanding that our learning starts when we are still in the womb, months before we are even born. We have the examples of Pralada and Abhimanyu in our stories. This is being proven by research in psychology and neuroscience as well. We start listening and learning even before we are born. Therefore, it is extremely important for expecting mothers to listen to calming sattvic music and chanting of certain Sanskrit mantras. This has a positive effect on brain development of the child.
This is all very interesting, Doctor. So the character and personality of the child gets affected by what the mother is doing?
Indeed, it is not just the mother, but everyone in the child's life has a role in this during those crucial months before birth. To return to the main topic of the discussion, I wanted to stress the importance of Indriyartheshu Vairagyam. People are prisoners to their sense desires. Lack of sadhana and values is keeping them enslaved to their ever-changing desires. The desire to eat wild animal meat can be the source of this pandemic. When there are plenty of less Ahimsa options, a market for wild animal meat should not even exist. But here we are, adventurous meat eating, bats, rats, snakes, pangolins, sometimes eaten raw and cooked. This is totally unnecessary. To add to Dr. Vaidyaji's point about the factory farm meat industry, in some developed countries, close to 50% of the food gets wasted, just thrown away in the trash. That is, killing millions of creatures on a daily basis, and just throwing half of it away. The level of Ahimsa and the environmental catastrophe leading to even more Ahimsa is simply unquantifiable. Now, more and more people in the West are becoming vegetarians. If not out of compassion, for health reasons, they are reducing or avoiding meat. But, ironically, in India, meat consumption is increasing rapidly.
Yes, we do need to bring greater awareness to the importance of Indriyartheshu Vairagyam. From preparing children right from the womb to controlling our senses as adults, beautifully expressed here by Kalidashi. In the West, with the rapid growth of vegetarian adoption, they seem to be recognizing the importance of adopting our ancient dharmic values, even if they do not know much about Dharma. But in India, people are adopting what's getting discarded by the West, thinking that they are now being progressive and westernized. Now, let us hear from Swamiji. Please enlighten us, Swamiji, with your views on these thought-provoking ideas expressed so far.
Very insightful discussion. And it is all emphasizing that we need to meditate more upon these ideas and issues, then come up with actionable policies. Though we have seen rapid technology growth, increase in comforts and conveniences, we are also seeing an increase in dysfunction, dissatisfaction, and unresolved trauma. We have also immensely increased the suffering for all other creatures, directly by slaughtering and by ruining the complex, interconnected natural ecosystems. There is an urgent need to increase awareness about all these great values taught by Sri Krishna. Negative values are like the coronavirus, right? They can also destroy a person, and even those who are in contact with that person. Bad values, bad habits are contagious and difficult to cure. In early childhood, introducing some simple sadhana and dharmic values through stories can provide some immunity. The proliferation of negative influences through social networks is a great challenge now. Children can easily get addicted to electronic devices. This is affecting their physical health, damaging eyesight, bad posture causing back and neck problems, etc. At home, there's not a minute of peace and quiet for studying or contemplation. The TV is always blaring nonstop and the phones keep buzzing. All of this is detrimental to the intellectual development of children. I am very concerned that we are going to have a global epidemic of mental illnesses. I'm sure Dr. Kalidashi would agree.
Absolutely true, Swamiji. We are already starting to see these health problems in children because of increased electronic usage. It is also diminishing attention spans, leading to poor academic performance.
These are really challenging times for parents, Swamiji. Parenting has really become far more difficult now than ever before, with widespread corruption and too many negative influences. Is there a value other than what we have discussed that is also relevant to our topic, Swamiji?
Yes, all values are always relevant, obviously, but if I have to choose one, Another value taught by Sri Krishna I would like to bring attention to is Asakti. Gradually, we should reduce our attachments to objects that are hurting our well-being, whether it is addiction to electronic devices or a desire for wild animal meat. We should identify these burdensome attachments that are making us inefficient and discard them.
Thank you, Swamiji. Now to bring our conversation back to where we started, Swamiji, can we now put our focus on Ahimsa? We get questions from viewers about Ahimsa all the time. There seems to be a lot of confusion. Can you please address this, Swamiji, along with your closing thoughts?
Sure, yes. Let us see. Ahimsa always gets highlighted as the most important value, right? But unfortunately, it is also the most misunderstood value. We don't understand our most important value. That shows us the level of destruction towards our Dharma civilization. This is indeed very sad. Swami Chinmaya Ji had said, "This misunderstanding of Ahimsa has turned us into a nation of cowards." The English word nonviolence means totally avoiding all violence, but that is not Ahimsa at all. Why would Sri Krishna be advising Arjuna to avoid all violence while motivating him to fight for truth and justice?
Very true. Now, when you explain it, this glaring mistake becomes self-evident. So, what would be a correct translation for Ahimsa, Swamiji?
Before this recent confusion, Ahimsa was always properly understood as minimizing suffering. That is, to practice Ahimsa, we are supposed to act to reduce harm. Sometimes, based on given context, this action can be in the form of violence, okay? It is not about passively watching suffering happen without doing anything to alleviate. In this pandemic situation, wearing a mask is Ahimsa. A mask prevents us from infecting others and causing more suffering. If there's a mass shooting happening, whoever is on the scene capable of stopping it must act to stop the shooter, using violence if needed. That is Ahimsa, right? To practice Ahimsa, we are supposed to take appropriate action to reduce himsa. The scriptures say, Ahimsa paramo dharmaha. To that statement, Swami Chinmayanandaji added, Dharma himsa tathaivacha, meaning righteous violence is also ahimsa. The sooner we discard the wrong translations, the better it will be for our nation, and indeed for the whole world. We are misleading ourselves and the rest of the world with many wrong interpretations. It is like the blind misleading the blind. Well, I hope that provides some clarity. Thanks for having this forum where we can have meaningful discussions, inform and inspire the viewers, and also clarify common misconceptions.
Amazing indeed. Thank you very much, Swamiji. The line misleading the blind. That was truly enlightening.
Thank you all very much. Jai Shri Krishna.
We thank all of our guests today who graciously offered their valuable time and shared their invaluable wisdom with us. We hope Gita guidance enables you to find clarity amidst confusion, just as your encouragement and feedback enables us to bring content that is relevant to you. Keep sending us your questions and comments, and we will see you soon in our next episode. Thank you. Hari Om, Jai Shri Krishna.